Be honest, do you ever dream of having superpowers? Judging by the popularity of superhero comics and movies, many would like to acquire phenomenal powers. Superhumans in latex suits continue to grab the attention of the viewers, and not just with tight clothing. A multi-million audience with bated breath follows epic battles, emotional conflicts, and heartfelt affairs of your favorite characters. This list contains the best series about superheroes, where they surprise with new extraordinary features, while the struggle between good and evil is accompanied by stunning special effects. Superheroes who descended from the pages of Marvel, DC, and many other comics and are known by their dedication to protect the weak and restore world justice. Mutants with superpowers who fight ordinary people for their rights, and supervillains who fight the Avengers, but in reality they turn out to be very heroic personalities protecting themselves, their loved ones, and their city. These are the main characters of the series from this list. Here you can find crystal clear characters and unusual, even slightly repulsive personalities who, by the will of fate, have to stop the apocalypse. Teenagers who are just discovering their powers, and even anti-heroes revealing themselves from a completely different side. Here's top 10 best series about superheroes of all time. Number 10. Titans. Based on the DC Comics Teen Titans, the series follows Dick Grayson, also known as Robin, and his team of superheroes. Tired of being in Batman's shadow, Dick trades troubled Gotham for quiet Detroit. He gets a job as a policeman and restores order by legal means. There, he first meets the Demonesses Raven, and then the other two members of the team. It is worth noting that the first season tells the backstory of the Titans and does it in a rather interesting manner. Raven, who has demonic powers, is narrated in the genre of horror and teen drama. Her internal conflicts, which show that when it seems that you are hated not only by the classmates at school, but also by your own reflection in the mirror, became an excellent metaphor for her uncontrollable force that can destroy all life on the planet. The story of the fiery Starfire, who has lost her memory and is trying to understand who she is and why the Russian mafia is chasing her, is like a detective story. Dick, as stated before, is responsible for the fight against idols and the realization of himself. But Beast Boy's line sags a little in intensity, but then he further dilutes the serious atmosphere of saving the world with his jokes and gags, and also cracks down on anti-heroes in the guise of a green tiger. Number 9. Misfits. The plot of the series focuses on 5 young delinquents who were sent to the community service for their pranks. During a storm that breaks out, the guys are struck by lightning, which gives them superpowers. But the problem is that the powers make fun of their habits and inner complexes. Alicia, a party lover, can no longer touch people. She immediately awakens in them an uncontrollable sexual desire. Former athlete Curtis, caught doping, gains the ability to turn back time. Rude and paranoid Kelly, who already could not keep her mouth shut and insulted everyone in a row, can now hear people's thoughts. While shy, awkward, and rather strange Simon gains an ability to turn invisible. The only one who does not yet know his strength is the self-confident, straightforward, and boorish Nathan, but this intrigue will definitely be revealed by the end of the first season. In addition, it turns out that these 5 were not the only ones who were given such a gift by fate, and therefore there will soon appear others who will undoubtedly want to enslave the world. And then the notorious scammer superheroes will have to gather all their strength to go and save humanity. Number 8. Jupiter's Legacy. Jupiter's Legacy is an American superhero adventure series directed and written by Stephen S. DeKnight. The series is based on the comic book series of the same name by the writer Mark Millar and the artist Frank Whiteley. Sheldon and Grace Sampson were at the forefront of the superhero movement in the 1930s. The couple managed to achieve a lot in their field. Sheldon became the leader of the Justice Union, and Grace had the status of one of the most powerful superheroes on the planet. But the happiness of any person, even a superhero, is not only built on the basis of his successful career. When Sheldon and Grace return home and change into normal clothes, they become average spouses, as well as the father and mother of 2 children. Young Chloe and Brandon Sampson, who follow in the footsteps of their parents and decided to build a career as superheroes, find it difficult to not remain in the shadow of the glory of their parents. The brother and sister are trying their best to prove that they are worthy successors of the cause, but at the same time they are more concerned with the popularity issues than with an actual maintenance of the order in the world. Number 7. Arrow. The series is an adaptation of the DC Comics Green Arrow. The plot tells about the billionaire playboy Oliver Queen, who returned to his hometown of Starling City after 5 years. He was absent for a very important reason. The guy got in a shipwreck, woke up on a desert island, and was considered dead for a long time. This story will be revealed later by the character's flashbacks. But now Oliver, having rethought his whole life as a reckless revealer, decides to do justice to corrupt officials, thieves, murderers, drug dealers, and other dark personalities, including those with magical powers. The first season generally looks more like a modern fairy tale about Robin Hood. Superhero attributes of Oliver include a sharp mind, a quiver and arrows, the latest spy gadgets, and of course, a set of amazing combat skills. Number 6. Daredevil. The series is based on the Marvel comics of the same name. When Matthew Murdock was young, he was hit by a truck carrying hazardous chemicals. The toxic substance got on the boy's face and severely burned his eyes, and as a result, Matt became blind. Years later, Matt, along with his best friend Foggy Nelson, opens a private law firm whose main task is to help those in need and punish those who deserve punishment. But not all criminals can be punished legally. Realizing this, Matt puts on a black suit almost every night and uses his heightened senses, as well as fighting skills acquired over the years of training, to expose influential villains who prefer to stay in the shadows. Number 5. Ragnarok. We find ourselves in a small Norwegian town of Edda, lost among the majestic mountains and forests. It is here that 2 ordinary teenagers move with their families. The guys are immediately fascinated by the amazing terrain and stories about the northern gods, which are still passed on here from generation to generation. They manage to quickly settle into a new place and make friends. The only thing that confuses the guys is not at all the climate that they expected to experience here. Instead of harsh winters with endless snowfalls, the guys are faced with constant weather changes. All of a sudden, perennial snows melt in the mountains. Then the town begins to drown in the incessant downpours. And summer frightens everyone with an unusual drought and scorching sun. Even the old-timers of the town are frightened by these events. Along with the weather, something strange begins to happen to the locals. Some people suddenly embrace inexplicable aggression, while some begin to freeze in the middle of hot summer. Panic begins to spread among the townspeople, while the old folks are completely sure that the end of the world is coming, and Ragnarok will soon come. Ragnarok is actually the death of all life on Earth and all the northern gods. Incomprehensible changes are noticed in themselves by the teenagers. They suddenly have superpowers. Even without fully realizing how to control them, the guys understand that this is their chance to stop the death of all life. They decide to get involved in the battle with the gods and try to save the world. Number 4. The Flash. The series based on a DC universe tells the story about the fastest man on Earth, the Flash. His real name is Barry Allen. When he was little, a man with supernatural powers killed his mother right in front of his eyes. The boy's father was unjustly accused of this cruel crime, and Barry himself became obsessed with fighting the killer. Even having matured and become a medical examiner, the main character does not lose confidence in the existence of superhumans. Unexpectedly, clues related to the murder of his mother lead our hero to the particle accelerator and its creator, scientist Harrison Wells. And just at that moment, lightning strikes the room with the accelerator. Barry falls into a coma and wakes up 9 months later as a superhero capable of moving at superhuman speeds. While it seems that the cherished dream of a comic book lover comes true, that the task of finding the killer becomes so much easier, it appears that the explosion of the accelerator could not be a mere coincidence. Now Barry needs to find out who caused it, why, and how it is all related to the events of 10 years ago. Number 3. The Umbrella Academy. The fashion for crazy stories and unusual superheroes continues in 2019. This time, the series is based on a comic book published by Dark Horse Comics, authored by My Chemical Romance vocalist Gerard Way. The plot tells about the superhero family, Hargreaves, in which the father did not want to give his children names, but simply called them by numbers. It's a good thing that the robot mother turned out to be a more sensitive one and still named the kids. Maybe this was influenced by the fact that the children were not from him. They were not from anyone at all. In 1989, 43 women who were not pregnant gave birth unexpectedly. The 7 babies were bought by the eccentric billionaire Reginald Hargreaves. The children turned out to be very gifted, however, somehow even more gifted than usual. Number 1. Luther suffered from one of the missions and received the torso of a gorilla after being injected with a serum. Number 2. Diego can change the trajectory of knives. Number 3. Ellison is able to turn rumors into reality. Number 4. Klaus talks with spirits. Number 5 can jump into the future, though he is stuck there for 45 years. Number 6. Ben releases tentacles. Number 7. Ivanka believes that she has no power but plays the violin well. According to the plot, of course, it turns out that she's not that simple. And although having barely reached 18, these children each went their separate ways, and Ben even managed to die, fate still brings them together at the grave of their father. And while the gifted talk about their hard life, remember old grievances, and expose childhood psychotraumas, the 5th appears, a 60-year-old man in the body of a teenager, and reports that in 8 days the apocalypse will arrive. On top of that, the Time Protection Commission is after 5th, and Ivanka's boyfriend knows more than these 7 crazy people put together. Number 2. Loki. The long-awaited show about of the most popular characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Loki is an American science fiction miniseries based on the story of a character from Marvel Comics. The series is also a Disney Plus streaming service project. It's based on the story of the character from Marvel comic book series whose image is based on a Norse mythology. The younger brother of the god of thunder and lightning Thor, the god of mischief Loki, with the help of the Tesseract stolen from the Avengers, sets off on a journey through time while changing the course of history. Thanks to another time jump, he gets into a secret organization, Management of Temporal Changes. Number 1. The Boys. An American fantasy series based on the comic books of the same name by Garth Ennis and Derek Robinson. The series tells about superheroes from whom there's no framework of morality or law. They do not lament over innocent victims. They leave saving a person halfway. They love parties, often get drunk, and in general lead a depraved lifestyle. In the modern consumer society, they are not symbols of hope, but fashion brands. Not the saviors of mankind, but the products of a huge corporation, Vought International. The advertising campaign of superhumans is so strong that almost no one notices their vices and crimes. But one day, a simple guy, Huey Campbell, gets his girlfriend killed through the fault of one of the idols glowing with hypocrisy. Then a man named Butcher finds him and offers to avenge the death of his beloved by joining the Boys Squad, Avengers who want to expose the corporation and superheroes. The series mainly focuses on two opposing groups, the Seven, an elite Vought team, and the Special Squad, the Boys, which is overseen by the CIA. The purpose of the Butcher's team is to punish supes whose crimes cannot be forgiven. Its goal is to control citizens with supernatural powers. This story is about the workdays of the most principled and harsh specialists, about their victories and falls, and of course, about the love between superheroes and ordinary people. It was top 10 best series about superheroes of all time. Do you agree with our list? Would you want to have superpowers? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome videos.